FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. That's right. Welcome to episode 191 of WhysAdvice. I want to open the show with a huge shout out to every single one of you who sent in a card, sent in a letter, who stepped up in a way that I've asked you to so many times as we sit there and tell the story to members of the military who need a little bit of hope, who need a little bit of inspiration. And I asked you guys, I said, please help me convey a message of belief. So to set the stage, best opportunity for you to get caught up is episode 182. 54 is a good second, and episode 12 are all good episodes to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about for the next 5 or so minutes. But I'm active duty Air Force. My job was on the line. I was at the point where the Air Force was tired of me failing fitness tests, and they'd had enough, and they were getting ready to send me packing, but I wasn't ready to go. And I come to learn after the fact that the number one retention issue in the military and one of our greatest threats to our national security is obesity. It's members of the military who are going to be kicked out because they're overweight, and it's the children of today who can't join because they're overweight. And I want to make a dent in that. I want to completely change it, and I absolutely need your help. So what I do is I travel all over the place and I share this story with members of the military, and I tell them that I was getting ready to get kicked out, and I tell them all the ways I tried to beat the test, and instead I just ended up going to the point where I said, I'm going to manage myself into a healthy, fit lifestyle, and I did that, and I share that with them, and I share with them that, hey, they can do it, you can do it as well. Interesting fact is nobody graduates military basic training overweight. So if no one graduates basic training overweight, how do we get to a point where our number one retention issue is people who are overweight? It's for so many years in our careers is we're not given the proper education and we're not given the proper tools to learn how to manage our lifestyle. And so I come in really with just a delivering of a message that you can do this. You can manage it. I ask for your support, and you guys answer the call every single time. You sit down, you write a card, you write a letter, you simply mail it to Operation FatDag. It comes into my mailbox. I sit down, I read them, and then at the end of my talk, I deliver your card to them in person, and I say, I believe in you, and so does Jennifer, and so does Leigh, and so does Donna, and so does Pam, and so many of you who write in, I hand your cards, and your words exactly are the last thing that they have as they walk out of this room and start a completely new life for themselves. And so this time, a huge shout out to all of you who sent the cards and letters in. It was absolutely amazing to deliver them. We had, there was roughly 40 people in the room. I think each person left there with 5 or 6 cards or more, maybe. I kind of lost count, but thank you to all of you who wrote in. As a special treat during this one as well, Dell Corporation took some time to also recognize our members of the military, and they're actually making it real. And what they decided to do was get their group of veterans together and their group of military supporters and spend a couple hours, writing cards and mailing them. And I delivered every single one to them. So thank you, Dell Corporation, for sure. Thank you, all the other wingmen out there. You guys absolutely are an amazing community of people who just absolutely want to get it done. You want to share. And Leigh writes in and shares that same thing. So I want to read this email. Leigh says, "Hi, FatDag. Today I had a binge and it was very emotional about it. And I posted it in the Wingmen Facebook group. I just have to say that the unconditional love and support and amazing advice that I received was the difference maker in me coping with and recovering from that moment. This was a new type of binge for me in that it started by trying to recreate a good week I had experienced in March. I saw that the first day of the week I had gone fairly deep into my weeklies and then rolled over points for the rest of the week. So I decided that I'd be smart. And I'd use those points on RX bars. Hey, good clean ingredients, right? After consuming several, I realized that day had been a large consumption of points because of the hiking in the Ouachita Mountains. Here it was raining and no way for me to earn nearly those activity points. I was furious with myself for making that mistake, and in theory, I should have stopped there. I went into a punishment mode, and for the next hour, consumed healthy foods, but oddly, I didn't choose 0-point foods. I chose nuts and popcorn cakes, etc. So that brought me to my post on the Wise Wingman group, along with a crying, snotty-nosed picture and a cry for help. My wingmen did not let me down. They lifted me up and gave me support until I could stand again. They will just never know how deeply they affected me. So I've dried my tears. I've made a plan, and I vow to be there should they need my support. So if you could ever find a moment to read this to them, I'd surely appreciate it. Sincerely, Leigh." Well, Leigh, I think we've all been there. I think that's what kind of fun about this journey. I think that's kind of what's fun about the Wise Wingman Facebook group is there isn't anyone in there pretending that this doesn't happen to them. And so the important thing is because we've all been there, we all know that we made it out alive. We all know that at some point we had to just say, okay, I'm starting over, and so when you take an opportunity, and it happened to me as well, when you take an opportunity to really just let it out and to really share it and to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to have a little bit of vulnerability in a safe, supportive community of people who are like-minded and get it. You'll find that the people in that community will absolutely jump through hoops to support you. And that's exactly what happened. And as we do the show live on Facebook, right now, folks on Facebook saying, yeah, I saw that post. And, I lost track. There's about 5,000 of you in there, maybe 4,000 folks in that community. But it's all people who are getting it done. So, Leigh, I think what you're trying to convey is that the group is your support network. And I believe that to be true for a lot of us. So thanks for sharing that. Now let's talk about the reaction, right? And so I love the fact that as you're now working your plan, you've done some things that I've recommended many times. Is that if you look back into your app, you look back at a previous day where you were successful, and you try and recreate it. And I think that's a great strategy for a lot of ways. I think for a lot of us, that strategy is really brilliant, and especially when if you get off track or if you start to struggle, it's good to go back and say, hey, wait a minute, I know I've done this before. Let me recreate that day. And so it's a great strategy to employ, but there is a catch, is that no 2 days are going to be the same. You can recreate them fairly well, but there are going to be circumstances throughout the day that may affect how you react. So in your case, eating up the RX bars, you guys know I love the RX bar. They run an ad on the show every once in a while, and so we support them fully. But I do it because I am with you. I like the ingredients. I think they taste great, and it's very easy to eat a couple of them because they are that good. But you absolutely have to track them. You've got to put them in the app, and then at that point, you are eating your weeklies just because earlier you noticed that you ate all your weeklies. And Steve, if he's listening, Steve will tell you that, you absolutely have to eat your weeklies as part of the plan. And I would take it one step further, and I would say, yes, eat your weeklies, but don't eat them just because they're there. Be deliberate with them. Find a way to work them in and enjoy them because they're part of the program. So, Leigh, you're absolutely in the right track. You're doing everything you needed to do right. I would ask you to stop being furious with yourself. Stop punishing yourself for mistakes that the entire planet makes. Think about that for a second, right? Every single person on the planet has probably done that. So why are we going to punish ourselves for that? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I get the mindset where we've all been in it, but I'm glad to see that our wingmen lifted you up. Great job drying your tears, making a plan, and reaching back, offering support for whatever you need. So, Leigh, thank you so much for your email. Keep up the amazing work, and we'll see you in the community for sure. Next up, Megan. Megan writes in and says, "Hi, FatDag. It's Megan here again from episode 160. I'm still loving all of your podcast. I've been thinking about when you say, be the prize. Having lost 80 pounds now, and everyone who sees me says something about the weight loss, they often will comment that they too need to lose some weight. It's a good feeling to help and motivate others by sharing my story. I have 3 friends and my husband who are doing well on Weight Watchers, and they started the program somewhat related to seeing that if I could do it, they could do it as well. Michelle, Debbie, and Wendy, they inspire and motivate me. My husband, Daryl, has lost 25 pounds, and he feels and looks fantastic. I never thought I would see him quit sugary soda and coffee creamer, but wow, he sure did it. My Weight Watcher friends and I check in with each other, and we share non-scale victories. Lately, I've been on the struggle bus and feel like a fraud to my friends. It's so frustrating. Complacency is a big pain in the butt. Can someone just create a complacency vaccine for crying out loud? I feel great. I look reasonably good, way better than before. I want to go out to dinner with friends and have a few drinks and have a great time. All things that I avoided 80 pounds ago. But as much as I try to have those evenings on plan, I am realizing that 1 or 2 drinks lessen my laser focus to stay on my plan. So I've decided that the drinks just aren't working for me right now. I'm still struggling in some other areas, mainly due to being stuck with a bad cold and bronchitis that lasts nearly 3 weeks that has affected going to the gym. I have noticed that a solid workout is directly related to my food cravings. If I work out, it takes away the cravings, simple as that. So being home, the cravings are in full force. I sure hope this sick crud is ready to leave me for good any day now. So, my sister Ann and I, we've decided, and we signed up for your 5K in Washington, D.C. with you. This should be interesting since neither of us are runners nor joggers, but we'll start training and plan to cross that finish line holding hands. This should be quite a sight. After all, Ann has held my hand through every step of this journey. I said it before and I'll say it again. Ann is the best sister a girl could have. I sure love her. We can't wait to hang out with you in DC, and I'll finally get to meet you. I am Megan-Miller on Connect, wishing everyone and you good focus. Megan, how cool is that? I see nothing but success in your email. I don't see anywhere in here where you're struggling. You know, I get kind of why you think maybe you are. You're down 80 pounds. You signed up to run a 5K, the first time you've ever done it in your life. And you've inspired 4 or 5 people to join Weight Watchers and to get healthy with you. That's not the definition of struggle. If you look that up in the dictionary, that's anything but struggle. That's inspiring. That's inspiration. That's way to be the prize. That's way to be a leader. That's way to work something so well that everybody else around you wants to have what you have. So you're doing fantastic work. I found it interesting that you noticed something that I noticed as well, is that, having lost 80 pounds and everyone who sees you, they do say something, right? And so they say, wow, you look great. And what are you doing? And they all then have this guilty side of them that says, yeah, I need to lose a little weight too. And so it's at that moment where we just want to say, here's how I did it. And we reach out and we just offer a loving hand and say, you can do this as well. And so it's an absolute good feeling to do that and to share it and help motivate. There's no other feeling like it, knowing that you are very instrumental in changing and saving lives. And it's really fascinating, like you said with your husband, is that watching him give up sugary soda, giving up creamer. I've said the same thing. I would wake up to a soda and go to bed with the soda on the nightstand, and I'm now completely soda free for coming up on 3 years now. And if you would have asked anyone 4 years ago if I would ever give up soda, they absolutely would say no way. But through watching other people do it, watching other people completely change their life, it became a goal, and it became part of my new lifestyle. And so that's exactly what's happening to the people who've met you, who are interacting with you, who you have inspired to completely change your life. So there's nothing about being a fraud in your email. You are 100% the opposite of that. So the way to be amazing, way to keep it up. Now, we can talk about complacency. One of my favorite episodes from way back, episode 72, talks about complacency. It talks about what do you do when you get there. And really what you got to do is you got to just simply recognize it. And so in your scenario specifically, Megan, is complacency sets in when you're down 80 pounds, when you're doing amazing, when you feel great. When you feel like, I don't know if I need to track this anymore, that starts kicking in. But with everything you've got going on and then the support system around you, the best way to have an antidote for that is to continue to do everything that you're doing to inspire those around you. You and your sister Ann are both incredible. I had the opportunity to meet her when I was in DC last. Looking forward to that opportunity again. And then, of course, meeting you as well. And we'll let you know what race we're going to do in Washington, D.C. I think I have that one planned out a little more than some of the others. This week, we're in Mississippi. On April 28th, we'll be in Biloxi, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. We'll go into Tulsa, Toronto, and then we'll be in Washington, D.C. in October. It's going to be awesome crossing that finish line. So Cool email. Thank you, Megan, for writing in. I can't wait to hear how your training's going, and I can't wait to hear about all the other people that you've inspired to get this done. Thank you so much. Very, very cool. Out of Sunnyvale, California, Stephanie writes in, and she says, "Hi, FatDag. First and foremost, thank you for being a shiny beacon of light. I've been on Weight Watchers time and time again, most recently since March of 2018, and as of late, I have sort of lost my way, gaining and losing the same weight over and over again. My total goal is to lose 60 pounds, and I've lost 5 pounds so far. It doesn't sound like much, but I know it is just the beginning. Today, I listened to your podcast, episode 190, and you said a few things that rang so true for me. As most people, I have my own challenges and personal hurdles. I'm a full-time working mom of 3 beautiful boys, big and little, 2.5, 7, and 22-year-old stepson. But with the stress of an ever-challenging work environment, lack of sleep, and overwhelming chores after a full workday, I'm finding my self-discipline is wavering. My hubby helps, but there is so much stuff to do. I also have Hashimoto's disease, which is a tightrope walk with my medication to boot. My hormones have been my worst enemy. When stress hits, it's not just mental, it's much more with me. It affects me in every aspect of my life. Today, you said own it, track it, and move on. I needed to hear this. I absolutely can't stand tracking, but this is where the rubber meets the road. I need to learn to like it, but I'm also learning forgiveness. Forgiving myself has been huge for me. I'm also working on my attendance goals. Each day, I go walking and listening to your podcast. Thanks for keeping me on track and keeping me positive when I just want to cry and throw in my exhausted, defeated towel. I know I am so much better than this. I know I can achieve great things. Thank you for reminding me of that. Thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for your daily dose of kind and encouraging words. Tired Mama Stephanie. Stephanie, way to go as well. And so I get it, right? You know, if you've been listening to a couple of episodes, is my schedule has completely changed. And so now, you know, you talk about busy, I get it. I know what busy looks like now. I used to think I was busy until I became busy. And so now I've gotten it. And what I've had to do is I've had to start making adjustments. And what I've had to really do is absolutely make a plan. That's the piece where the things that you can control, I want you to take the opportunity to control. Congratulations on starting your journey. And I want you to, from the very, very onset of your email, I want you to refocus your mind. And so where you say, I've lost 5 pounds so far, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then when you say it doesn't sound like much, is that instantly you revert back into a place of, I need to be doing more. And that's not exactly true. What's true is that you've embarked on a journey that's going to take a long time, that's going to completely change your life, that's going to get you healthier for the rest of your life, for your 3 sons, so that you're always there. You are well on your way to that, and that is absolutely worth celebrating. You don't lose 5 pounds by accident. You don't just accidentally wake up and the scale's down 5 pounds. You did that by committing to changing your life. You did that by committing to a new way to change your life and taking the actions necessary to absolutely change your life. That's how you lost 5 pounds. To me, it sounds like an awful lot because that's a lot of hard work to get to that point. And then now you just repeat that process until you get to the point where you say, I don't want to lose any more weight. You can do that. You are so much better than this. You know that you can achieve any great thing that you set your mind out. You know that's to be true. Following your attendance goals, you can do that. The piece of advice I would throw out to you is that in your case specifically, and for a lot of us, is you are going to be very successful if you can take the opportunity to plan out way better than you probably are now. With so much going on, with having 3 kids and a busy job and all that, then what's going to happen is you get to that point where whatever you need, there's almost never any time to fulfill that. You're so busy taking care of everybody else, which is an amazing way to live. But I would caution you to put you first. And by putting you first, what you can do is you can make a plan. You can pre-track. If tracking is not your friend, you can pre-track the entire day, first thing in the morning. You can pre-track the night before. You can pre-plan to the best of your ability, and then simply follow that plan through to fruition. That's going to be the secret in a lot of ways. For those of us who aren't exactly loving the tracking, tracking absolutely is the way to get this done. You have to be accountable to what you eat so that you get that education of what it is you're trying to do. And once you start seeing the data, start seeing the numbers, everything starts coming into better focus. So, Stephanie, keep up the amazing work. You're doing fantastic. You're balancing a lot. Put you at the top of your to-do list. Make sure you're getting everything you need done, and the rest will fall into place for sure. So Christy on Facebook reminds me to tell you to just do your best. Do the best you can each day, and what happens is that, you know, every single day you wake up, you have to assess the day and the mindset that you're in, and at that point, do the best that you are for then. Your best today may be completely different than your best yesterday, and that's the mindset you need to take this. And every single day you say, this is the best I can do today, and you get it done. So again, Stephanie, thank you so much for writing in. Ronnie writes in and says, "Hey, FatDag. Hey, I just recently found your podcast and I had a major breakthrough while listening to one episode. You said something about using all of our focus to get to goal, and then we'll be done with that phase of the weight journey. After that, we'll be in the lifelong phase of maintaining our weight. It never occurred to me that the weight loss phase could be temporary because I've always blown my diets, which has perpetuated this particular phase of healthy weight journey for decades. The idea that I could actually just get done with this phase, not because I've given up, but because I've succeeded, is a thought I'd never entertained before. You also said things like, which would you rather have, that extra cookie or a 10% weight loss? And which would you rather do, sit on the couch or get out and exercise your way to a 10% weight loss goal? I'm paraphrasing here, but I just wanted to let you know that there is something in the way you phrased your advice that landed just right with me. I'm so glad I found your podcast. Thanks to you, I have a new commitment to focus, to getting this extra 25 pounds off my body, and then one day at a time to maintaining a new way of living and eating so that it stays off. Thanks so much, Ronnie. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so here's what's interesting. I always love, I see this often. I see people on Connect. I see people on Facebook. I see it on Twitter. People who quote me. Oftentimes I'll read the quote and go, I don't think I said that. And what I've figured out through that process is everything I say resonates with you in some way, shape, or form. What it gets you to do is it gets you to take the words that I say and it gets you to apply them into your life, and it gets you to hear what you need to hear in that particular moment. So it's not so much that the advice I give you is a plan for you to follow step by step, but it is a guideline for you to understand that you have to make your own plan. And so as Ronnie writes in, I do believe there is a weight loss phase of this journey. There is a maintenance phase afterward called lifetime. I ran as fast as I could to cross that finish line. I had to get to goal. That was my plan. I didn't care. I used all of my focus to make sure that I could absolutely get to goal. I needed that celebration. I needed to cross the finish line. I needed to say, I did this. Some people do that as well. And Ron, it looks like that is the mindset that you're in. So run as fast as you can, get to goal. And when you get to goal, learning then is going to be a little different adjustment, but you're going to now have to relearn some new things to balance your new lifestyle. But I tell you, it's a whole lot more fun to try and figure out how to balance the lifestyle when you're at goal than it is to try and figure out it after the fact. But everybody has a different way of approaching that. There's a whole group of folks who say there is no finish line and that there is no finish line to cross. And so that's a theory that works. There's a theory that works that I say where there is a finish line and it has to be something sustainable on either end. You have to find a way where you say, I can do this. And so as you listen to more episodes, as you continue to find a way to get it done, what you'll start hearing is you start learning things that you need to learn to get this done. And when somebody tells you something, you can apply it to your scenario. You can take that extra 25 pounds off. You absolutely can do this. And so what it takes is that you saying, I want to do this. I do want to go, I would rather make goal than have that extra cookie. I'd rather make goal than have pizza tonight. You don't have to be right all the time. You just have to ask yourself the question every single time, make a deliberate choice, and move on. It's often one of the things is when you look at food as an opportunity, if you walk in to a place and you were expecting something to be there, you planned for it, you pre-tracked, you knew it was going to be there, then track it, own it, enjoy it, move on. But if you walked in and you weren't expecting it and it chooses you, that's the point to ask yourself that question. Like, I've already had dinner, but this snack is here. Do I want this or would I rather make goal? If you ask yourself that question every single time and get it right most of the time, you're going to have whatever success that you want. Congratulations on your new commitment to focus. Congratulations to getting it done, and then one day at a time, maintaining this absolutely new lifestyle. I'm glad you found the podcast as well. Hopefully you're in the WhysAdvice app. I believe that's the best way to hear it, but certainly it's all over the internet. You can Google FatDag and find it in iTunes and Stitcher Radio and iHeartRadio. I'm not sure where you found it, but thank you certainly for tuning in as well. So, Ronnie, thank you again for being here. Let's celebrate this journey. Let's celebrate this mindset where you said, I now have a new commitment. Because one of the things that's critical in this journey is you getting to the point where you say, I can do this. And when the commitment stage is the hardest part. And when you fully commit, you're capable of anything that you want to accomplish. And it's at that point we celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to FatDag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast to send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll certainly work them in as part of the show. You can email in directly at onair@FatDag.com. I really want you to email in your celebrations. It happened again tonight. I get an email, seems like many days a week, where someone says, hey, can you forward my email to so-and-so from episode number whatever? Because we want to connect, and your stories are making a difference. I told you before, the only story that I can tell with any passion is mine, because I lived it. I understand that particular journey. So if you're in the military struggling, I can talk to you in a way that you'll understand. If you're a mom of 5 kids, I can't talk to you in a way that you'll understand because I've never experienced that. So that's where all of our stories come together, and they just reach out, and every single story can resonate with somebody, and we can reach the entire planet. That's why I want you to email in. That's why I want you to share your story, because at that point, we make a difference. We be the prize. We reach back and help other people, and we get it done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the WhysAdvice podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit FatDag.com, click on Become a Patron today.